Hello dear viewers and welcome to T-World. Kindly hit the subscribe button and we will be on our way. In today's news, top counselor let the then VP know that the courts would likely not help him, assuming he surrendered to Trump's strain to postpone guaranteeing constituent votes. A day prior to, a crowd of Donald Trump allies crushed their direction into the Capitol to upset the exchange of official power. Then Vice President Mike Pence's top legal counselor ran off a critical reminder. In the 3-page archive, lawyer Greg Jacob presumed that if Pence somehow happened to embrace Trump's interests, that he without any assistance block or postpone the counting of appointive decisions on Jan. 6. He would break numerous arrangements of the Electoral Count Act, the law that has represented the exchange of force beginning around 1887. Such a move, Jacob finished up, would certainly flop in court, or on the other hand more regrettable. He said, the courts would decline to reach out and leave America in an uncommon political emergency. All things considered, he said in the reminder got by Politico and distributed interestingly, the vice president would probably wind up in a disconnected deadlock against the two places of Congress, with no unbiased mediator accessible to break the stalemate. Jacob is planned to affirm openly Thursday to the Jan. 6 Select Advisory Group about Pence's choice to oppose Trump's strain crusade. The board declined to remark on Jacob's update. The update illuminated Pence's definitive choice to repel tension from Trump to invert the result of the political race. Pence declared his choice the following day, when he made a trip to the Capitol to direct the Jan. 6 gathering of the House and Senate. His choice, in a letter that firmly followed Jacob's update, excited a horde of thousands of Trump allies that the president had called to Washington to fight his loss. In no less than an hour of Pence's declaration, many individuals from that crowd would cudgel their far beyond police lines and into the actual Capitol, sending the VP and individuals from Congress escaping for well-being. A few individuals from that crowd recited, "Hang Mike Pence." The Jan. 6 Select Board of Trustees has had Jacob's reminder for quite a long time. A significant component of the board's view Trump criminally schemed to upset the political race. When his legitimate difficulties had all fizzled, Pence's group immovably accepted that embracing Trump's push to hinder Joe Biden's administration would require various infringement of the Electoral Count Act, a position they had handed off to both Trump and lawyer John Eastman, the moderate legal counselor who fostered Trump's periphery legitimate system to stay in power. Jacob's update, named Examination of Professor Eastman's Proposals, is dated Jan. 5. In any case, Jacob told the Select Board of Trustees in February he drafted the greater part of it daily prior in light of a serious first-time meeting with Eastman. A government judge has concurred that Eastman's methodology probably strayed into a criminal area. U.S. Local Court Judge David Carter decided in March that Eastman's lawful hypotheses were result-driven and unsupported. He named it an upset looking for a legitimate hypothesis, and that work to block the counting of discretionary votes probably added up to a criminal scheme with Trump. In his notice, Jacob said Eastman recognized his proposition would require Pence to abuse the Electoral Count Act in 4 ways. They included dismissing the law's prerequisites that one Pence count all constituent votes from states in sequential request, settling any debates prior to continuing on toward the following state. 2 Pence require any complaints from administrators in the wake of presenting each state's record of balloters. 3 Legislators be allowed to consider contending records of balloters. And 4 The meeting of Congress can't be concluded once it begins and should close in 5 days or less. Eastman's proposition, conversely, contemplate a lengthy opening of the joint meeting to permit state governing bodies to explore the political race and to decide on which record of voters to confirm. Jacob noted, Eastman spent the last a long time before Jan. 6 Fomenting for Republican-controlled governing bodies in a small bunch of states won by Biden to select their own contending record of voters. In that situation, Eastman said, Pence would be expected to consider these dueling records. However, no state lawmaking body consented to heed Eastman's guidance. All things considered, supportive of Trump activists met and sent their own uncertified records of voters to Congress, however without the gift or sponsorship of any lawmaking body or lead representative. Without that confirmation, Eastman started pushing Pence to take on an alternate strategy: delay. He encouraged Pence to proclaim the outcomes in a modest bunch of states to be in debate and to break the meeting of Congress until those lawmaking bodies working closely together could determine the discussion. Jacob's Jan. 5 notice should have been visible as the bookend of his extended legitimate packing meeting on the Electoral Count Act. Jacob drafted an initial update for Pence on deck. 8. Recently acquired and distributed by Politico. that illuminated Pence's underlying reasoning on the inquiry yet reached no firm inferences. By Jan. 5. Pence's group had plainly concluded there was no practical way to seek after Trump and Eastman's technique eminently. That's what Jacob demonstrated, assuming any state lawmaking bodies had, as a matter of fact, confirmed a supportive of Trump record. The VP could have followed an alternate way. A sensible contention could additionally be made that while settling a debate between contending electing records, Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution puts a firm and justifiable influence into the balance on the state governing body. Jacob composed, here, in any case, no state assembly has delegated or ensured any substitute record of voters. Jacob noted, and Professor Eastman recognizes that most Republican administrative larger parts in the states have flagged they have zero desire to do as such. In legitimizing his decisions, Jacob referred to previous Supreme Court Justice Joseph Bradley, who aided resolve the contested appointment of 1876 in breaking a political logjam, the very debate that prompted the section of the Electoral Count Act. Bradley verified that the VP played no part choosing the legitimacy of discretionary votes, government courts in Washington, D.C. Jacob added, "We're probably going to concur with that. All things being equal, Eastman had been betting on something that could make much more mayhem. The courts declining to step in, under the alleged political inquiry teaching. Courts frequently try not to say something regarding dinky debates between the administrative and leader parts of government. In any case, Jacob said even that situation wouldn't help out Trump and Eastman out. He is hazy that any good political arrangement could follow." He composed, Jacob's judgment likewise affected 2 changes Pence made to the bad habit official content when he managed the Jan. 6 meeting. When the horde scoured the Capitol, in 1, Pence clarified that he was just presenting official voters that had been guaranteed by a state government, and declining to present the uncertified records sent by favorable to Trump activists. In the other, he expressly found out if there were complaints by House and Senate officials after each state's balloters were presented, on Jan. 6. Similarly, as agitators were overwhelming the Capitol, Eastman made a last-ditch request with Jacob to persuade Pence to reevaluate. In an email, he showed Pence a letter recommending that Republican officials in Pennsylvania showed up liable to reconvene and name supportive of Trump voters in the event that they had additional time. At the point when Jacob said any work to send the matter back to the states would in any case disregard the law, Eastman referred to his reaction as little leaning. "You're staying with minor procedural resolutions while the Constitution is being destroyed." Eastman composed, "I regard your heart here," answered Jacob. "I share your interests about what Democrats will truly do once in power. I need political race honesty fixed, however. I have run down each lawful path put before me to its decision, and I deferentially presume that as a legitimate system, it is an outcomes-situated position that you could never uphold whenever endeavored by the resistance. And basically completely made up. What's more, on account of your baloney." He proceeded, "We are currently under attack."
If you made it to the end of the video, kindly hit the subscribe button and leave a comment. It helps the channel.